A beautiful place. Partnerships. National. Unity and diversity. A partnership for national unity. Guyana's future in our hands.
Trafficking, there is gun trafficking, and there's a lot of illegal weapons within the society. Other crimes where people are being killed for sometimes paltry things.
There is no, I insist, there is no breakdown of law and order in Guyana. Like you and like everyone over here, we live in this country, we can walk about this country, we can work, we can have fun, we can have leisure, we can do all we want to do in this country without looking over our shoulders. There is no, I insist, there is no breakdown of law and order.
Now here's the whole truth in the 2005 U.S. government narcotics report on Guyana. The U.S. Embassy in Guyana estimates that narcotics traffickers earn $150 million annually and possibly much more. News media routinely report on instances of corruption reaching high levels of government that go uninvestigated and unpunished. The drug trade generates violent armed groups who act as if they are above the law.
5 years later, nothing has changed.
Guyana's future in our hands.
Earlier in the program, you heard about a few challenges that the youths would have been facing so far. But now I'm going to ask you all a question. The government is usually supposed to make citizens comfortable. Where has the government failed in terms of providing for our youths?
Taxes. Security. Ugh.
Somebody said security. Elantra, how have they failed you?
I should say, they're not social. I'm this person. I'm open, and with this government, it's like a sort of stock up people. If you go somewhere, everybody's like to themselves, stuck up all there by themselves. So I guess we need to be more open, and I guess if we have a change in the government, I'm hoping and praying that we will have a change, that these people are more open, and that if they're open, it starts with the head. So if the head is open, I guess the tail will then eventually be open, and we'll be one happy family.
Okay.
So,
Jamal, you mentioned taxes. Get a little deep into that. What do you mean when you say taxes?
Taxes. Between as you know, as a consultant, between this income tax thing they have going on in Guyana and VAT and a few other taxes, I find myself giving an inordinate amount of money to the government, which I really feel I shouldn't be, giving them. I'm probably this way because I grew up in the Bahamas, and it, not to say that it was a tax haven, but really on citizens, it was really a lot easier. There was no such thing as an income tax. I learned about income tax when I first came back into Guyana. We had property taxes, the regular taxes that you would expect. The taxes on vehicle, the duty and shipping, I will be quite honest with you, was like about 5% as compared to the, oh wait, this car costs $5,000 US? Okay, here's another $10,000 on top of it, So to come back to Guyana and experience taxes the way they are here was, something quite shocking. For the average person, paying 33 1/3% income tax, and then you have value-added tax, which is charged on almost everything now, inclusive of credit, and you have a total of 49%, which is almost basically half of your salary going to the government. And as somebody in Guyana, I don't really see it going anywhere. I see a few roads being paved. I see them putting up those cameras so they could look at me easier. But I really don't see where all the money is going from the taxes. I used the car earlier as an example because
I used to be a car in my car house.
I saw like if you look at some of these vehicles, you're getting second-hand vehicles from another country. second, sometimes third hand. And when you buy them, they might cost like say 2,000 US, which is 400,000. The car would cost 400,000. You bring it into Guyana, it'll cost you probably 600,000 after bringing it in. The government now will go and charge you excise and duty on that vehicle based on engine size. So for a car that cost originally 600,000, the government will put a tax of literally 1.1 million on it. And this is actually quite serious. So you have a vehicle that's now worth 1.7 million, and then the dealers still have to get their little markup, which, you know, there's another 600,000. So essentially I'm paying 3 to 4 times the cost for a car which is worth like a quarter of that. And is actually quite a reason like why I can't get a car up to now, because I refuse to take a bank loan out. So that's why you see me walking all over the place and catching taxi and stuff. And all these little things just really boil down to a lot of it raises a bit of issues for me.
Oh, okay, so tell me specifically, as a young person, what do you want to see a new government do in terms of tax as it relates to youth? What do you want to see them change? Be specific.
If you're not going to cut the taxes, at least raise, try and raise the GDP, in terms of what what's that thing called, man? The minimum wage is. Mm-hmm. So, what sense does it make if someone's living on, if somebody's working for $40,000 per month, and then the government is going to just chop off a third of that, or, based on their range? What can you do with that? We have countries that have social economic programs in place that have higher minimum wage minimum wage requirements than Guyana. You could do that, or you could cut the taxes, like really cut the taxes, or you could do both. See, problem solved.
All right. Security is a very big issue for many of us, not only youths in Guyana. It's a problem actually because there's been a serious breakdown of law and order in our society. Now, Ainsley, you mentioned security as a problem. I mean, just talk about that a bit. Tell me about that.
Yeah, well, security is definitely one of the major problems that we face here in the country, and that has resulted from the government allowing corruption, which has, quite frankly, begin to spread like a malignant form of cancer, and it's just growing rapidly, and especially within the police force and the GDF. There's lots of corruption there, and we can't trust the police. We can't trust the government. If you guys saw, I think it was yesterday's Skyshore that mentioned the U.S. State Department's report on Guyana security. I can't remember what it was titled, but they quite rightly pointed out that there are high levels of corruption within the Guyana Police Force and the GDF, Guyana Defense Force. They're right. Quite frankly, they're right. I side with them. I stand behind them 100%.
Let me interject here. Now, we have a situation, and this is ironic. We had a few months ago our Minister of Home Affairs, he's the head of all of them, saying in Parliament, hey, look, there's no breakdown of law and order in Guyana. It's, we could live free, we could do this, we could go out here, we could go there and come whenever we like and what time. And, he basically listed everything that we could do.
But he didn't say it so gently, did he?
No. But he is basically trying to justify why he said there's no breakdown of law and order here. Can you comment on that?
Sorry, repeat that. Why he said?
Yeah. Tell me. I mean, you as a youth, you're experiencing all of you're seeing these things. You talk about corruption.
Well, I don't know where Mr. Ruiz living, but clearly he's not here because he is blind. Like I think it was Mr. Granger that said there are a lot of blind ministers here in government, and he's quite right. I don't know where the hell Mr. Ruiz living, but clearly not in Guyana. There is a high level of corruption within the police force. You got rogue officers who think that they're so above the law, they could do whatever they want to do. They go out there torturing people, innocent people, attacking people for no reason. The police are out of control. Now, I don't hate the police because I have 4 friends who are members within the force, different ranks. I have 1 relative who's a member also. But the police in general, they got major issues going on. Major issues. And we can't continue to live in a society where the police running rampant, doing whatever they want, thinking that they're also above the law. And then you gotta look, we look at the, people often question the training procedures which the police go through. Are they trained to handle people? They're not even civil human beings. The definition of police is somebody who is given certain legal powers and to prevent and solve crime, and they're supposed to do it in a civil manner. Police are not civilized. That's police in general. If you want to get down to specific officers, fine, yeah. You might find an officer here and there who's courteous to you, who's civil, but that's like finding a diamond on Regent Street. Quite frankly, it is so hard to find a courteous officer here in Guyana compared to the U.S. Now, people overseas, they actually embrace police officers. Well, let's go to the USA, for instance. In New York City in particular, where I've lived, I have personally seen people visiting the city and wanting to reach out to the police, posing to take photos with the police officers, especially those on the mounted units on horseback. Here in Guyana, nobody would want to do something like that. Sure, people might say it's not within our culture to want to do something like that. But the people there show public appreciation and affection for the police. They show that the police are appreciated. Here, the average person detests the police. Quite frankly speaking, that's how it is. This is a society that we're coming up in. What has Guyana come to when people detest the police to such an extent that you got youths coming up? They're coming up in societies where they're learning to hate the police officers, and it's wrong. And it would have started from government, and it needs to be changed there. They need to put a spin on things. They need to change the public's view of the police. You know, they really need to get in and I don't know, do an overhaul on everything.
And on the note of change, I mean, currently in Guyana, we're in more or less election mode because general elections is due this year. Do you believe that with a new administration, with a changed administration, government that is, the Guyana police force will be overhauled? I mean, from the little that you would have heard or the little that what you would have seen through the media, do you believe that a new administration will change that?
Certainly, because the PPP has been in power for 19 years, and this the rampant police, the rage that the police has been on, the rampant killings, torturing of people, unsolved crimes, it's been going on for too long. Why is it that one party in government for 19 years can't change anything? I'm definitely looking forward to change, and I believe that change can come with a new government.
Okay.